Okay, we're live. Well, I'm live. Hello, everyone. We'll just wait a bit until some more pop up. Thanks, Eric. If I make a video in the next 2 months, you'll be the next comics division. Yes, I just expect me to drop every video I'm doing right now, and just in the next 2 months, you'll expect one video, and then the length of time between each videos will increase. Hey, what's yeah, this I've come to the realization my streams and the Ozchris Eats the Universe are the doomsday clock of my channel. It's either going to be delayed or just hope and pray that an episode comes out or a stream comes out. Okay, let's see. Let's share this link out. See if we can get some more in the chat for a bit before I start. Live now, talking Year of the Villain and War of the Realms, etc. Sounds about right. So while we wait, how's everyone else been doing? As I said before, I don't live stream much. It's either I decide, hey, no, I'll do this another day, or I just forget. Should probably get people on next time. We need more people. I don't need a chat to sit around talking to myself. I can do that anytime. Know how you feel, Eric? That's me every day. That is exactly me every day. Just talking to myself. Because only I can stand myself. But even then, I have my limits. Let's see. This is a pain trying to manage everything. At least we will talk about comics. Yes, we will. Yes. We'll talk about events. That's what I'm planning. So we'll talk about War of the Realms, Year of the Villain, Absolute Carnage, all of that, all the events, and probably a few new titles and updates that were announced recently. That's what we'll talk about. Let's see. Serious question. Do you ever go on Ash's Discord? I've been spending a couple of nights yapping. I'd love to talk to you in person. I don't use Discord that much. It's I plan to, but I really don't use Discord that much. I don't know why. I just go on there, but I never go into chats. Just I don't know. That's just me. But I plan to. I plan to expand my expand my visits to Discord. Usually, most of the time, most of the Discords I'm on are just there's no one there, so I usually don't find a reason to go on. But I don't know. I'll try and go into Ash's Discord sometime. It's mainly just time and if I'm like super tired. But I'll try. I'll try next time, Eric. I'd like to talk to you. Yes, you can tell me with your actual voice how much you love America Chavez. You bats, Ash and Tehillim are all old pals now. Did you somehow convert them to America Chavez lovers? That's the only that's the only reason I'd see you going into a Discord. Hey, what's up, DC Fans United? Glad you could join. You're working on it, Eric? Okay, okay. Yeah. Converting them to the Church of America, the Church of Gabby. I mean, you're dedicated to the cause. It's a wrong cause, but you're dedicated. That's what counts. uh, we might as well just get started a little bit. So yeah, not we. It's only just me and my multiple personalities, but just me. The Church of the National Treasure. Yes, of course, Eric. But might as well get started. So, if you've been keeping up with the news, there is there's quite a few events going on in DC and Marvel. Particularly with Marvel. Marvel has one ongoing event, has one upcoming, and then there's a second upcoming one that's starting in December, but it's kept secret. I'm gonna talk about and theorize what that actually is because I think there's a reason why it's kind of kept a secret, but it's obvious what it's going to be about because they gave a timeline of what events are going to happen. So I'll talk about that later. So let's talk about War of the Realms. They're Marvel's first, and if you can tell by how I emphasize that, I put that in a with commas in that first at the start and the beginning. First event, their first big event after 18 months of saying they're not going to do events and having just filled it with crossovers and limited series events and whatnot. They've got their first big event, War of the Realms, which is like, uh, thank you, Eric. Yes, BRB going to recruit some chatters. I appreciate that. But so War of the Realms, which is supposed to be the culmination of everything Jason Aaron has been doing with Thor since he started with the God Butcher to Thor coming back. No, well, yeah, Thor just being a god of hammers, not just the god of thunder anymore, which is still stupid. Edward Brewer not interested. Yeah, it's just I feel like with War of the Realms. So okay, we'll get into the statistics of it first. It's 6 issues long. It'll have a Omega issue in July to wrap it all up. 23 tie-in series, 11 of which were created just for this event. It's there's so many goddamn mini series. So I had the page up here before, so we'll look into it. Tines. Okay. So you got 2 issues of as Guardians of the Galaxy, 3 issues of Avengers, 2 issues of Captain Marvel, 2 of Champions, 2 of Deadpool, 1 of Fantastic Four, 3 issues of a Giant Man miniseries, an issue of Moon Girl, 2 issues of Superior Spider-Man, 3 of Thor, 2 of Tony Stark Iron Man, 4 of Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. I don't know why. 3 of Venom, and then you have the War of the Realm tie-in. So Journey into Mystery, New Agent of Atlas, Punisher, Spider-Man in the Leagues of the Realm, etc., etc. It's just there's so many goddamn tie-ins, and I feel sorry for the person who is just a 100% completionist because their bank and their wallet is going to be so goddamn dry if they go full completionist on this series. Like for me, I'm just reading the main series to see is this really worth being a big line wide Marvel event? And just any series that I'm currently reading that has a tie-in, I'm picking it up anyway. So Superior Spider-Man and Venom. The Venom one was actually good. So Cullen Bunn is writing those tie-ins while Kate does other things and prepares for absolute carnage. But the Venom one was actually really good. So, oh, and I'm gonna pick up New Agents of Atlas just because of those upcoming Chinese comics. So I might as well see what the characters are like before I 100% go into picking up those two issues, Swordmaster and Arrow. But yeah, there are so many goddamn tie-ins. There's a few aftermath issues. So Loki's getting a new series. Which, if you're an idiot and you didn't know that Loki can't die, um, it's kind of a spoiler because they announced it a week after his character's death in in commas death, that he's getting a new series. So if you're not like a huge like Loki deep lore fanatic and know the fact that he can't die, one, removed his name from the Book of Death, so he's pretty much immortal. Two, he fakes his death a lot. So from the get go, you didn't know that, and you actually believed that Loki could actually die. It's spoiled. He's back. He's got a new series. He's back from the dead. He's resurrected. So that's just poor planning on that is just poor planning on Marvel's behalf. They should have just kept it a secret, honestly. Even though, like I said, anyone who knows Loki knows that he's knows that he can't die. So it's obvious he's going to come back. But it's Marvel's poor planning, as usual. They spoiled the Hulk coming back in No Surrender. Um, but you know, it's to be expected from Marvel Comics. Let's see. Edward Brewer says, "I like Bun's horrors. Horror, not heroes." Yeah, I kind of see that. I know a lot of people liked his Venom run, so I can see why this is at least this first time issue was actually good because he's had experience with the character. It's not particularly not really hero-ish, but I don't know. I really can't explain it, but it was a really good start to the tie-in. Eric Breen says all those crossovers in No America, what a waste. West Coast Avengers is appearing in the Superior Spider-Man crossovers, so that's the closest you're going to get to America being in War of the Realms, having a crossover with Superior Spider-Man. And I think I think he's not gonna tolerate a lot of those characters. But War of the Realms, if you've seen my reviews on the first two issues, I've already said that this doesn't need to be a line-wide event. This could just be by itself a Thor event, and I think that's how Jason Aaron planned it, because as I said, it's supposed to be a culmination of everything he's done for the past 6 years with Thor, with Jane Foster, etc. So I think he wanted it to be a Thor event, but Marvel got greedy. It's like, we need our 18 months of no events is coming to a close. So hey, Jason, I hear you got some big Thor thing you want to conclude your whole storyline with. How about we do that for an event? Because uh, as I've said with the first issue, the other characters that are there are purely there by coincidence. So Spider-Man, Punisher, Daredevil, they're all just there because they live in New York City. And that just happens to be the first city where the War of the Realms erupts, that Malekith attacks, because this is Marvel. Honestly, what other city is going to be attacked? You know, they're not they're not going to go to like San Diego. It's like, let's attack San Diego first for no reason at all. You know, it's obviously going to be New York City, given Marvel's connection to that place. So, but pretty much the characters are just a part of this story because they just happen to live in the city. Like they really have no reason to be in War of the Realms. And like same with when Wolverine joins. Wolverine just turns up and starts fighting against all of like Malekith's forces. It's like he really doesn't need to be there. So it should have just been a Thor event, maybe with tie-ins with Avengers since Thor's in that team, maybe as Guardians of the Galaxy, etc. It shouldn't have been a line-wide event. It's I think hopefully the outcome we get is that Jason Aaron moves on from Thor. I think he's done all he can to the character. God Butcher remains his only probably like legitimately good storyline. I've read the God Butcher story arcs; they're actually good. That's the only one that he has. He's just done so much to the character that a lot of Thor fans don't like. So, cutting his arm off, making him unworthy, uh, reducing his name to a title so that Jane can have it. That that's really stupid. His name is Thor. It's not a title. And then just having a whole storyline where Jane was supposed to die, she did. Then she comes back, but she still has cancer. So it's like, what's the point? What was the point of bringing her back if she still had cancer? And then it's revealed in War of the Realms. Oh, wait, she's cancer free. You know, ta-da! I don't know. Just War of the Realms. It doesn't need to be a line-wide event. All of these tie-ins, these 23 tie-ins that they have are so unnecessary. It just only needs to be at least two of those as Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers. Oh, and a third, Thor, because it's his own series. So it should have at least three times in total, and War of the Realms should have just been a Thor event. It didn't need to be line wide. So that's the ongoing Marvel event that is going on right now. So their next one is Absolute Carnage. So the culmination of what Cates has been doing with Carnage, Web of Venom, and all that will finally come to a close. Implied to come to a close with Absolute Carnage. Uh, yes, Edward. Yeah, that's Marvel for you. Yes, Marvel is Marvel is not smart. They make stupid decisions a lot of the time. So Absolute Carnage. The groundworks for it will start with Free Comic Book Day. So there's the Spider-Man Venom #1 uh, comic for FCBD. So I don't know how necessary it will be. I found out a lot of stuff for Free Comic Book Day when they say it's going to be like help start the event. Sometimes it's not necessary. It's completely optional. So I'm going to assume this Spider-Man Venom #1 is going to be optional. I'm just picking it up anyway. Uh, yes, Edward. Free Comic Book Day is this Saturday. It is the first Saturday of May. So yes, so I'll be at my LCS very early in the morning to line up. So mainly because I have work later on in the day. So I want to get in there quick. Get some some trades that are on sale. They're doing a sale for trades, manga, statues, etc. So I want to get all of my stuff over and done with, and then get back home, relax a bit, probably catch up on all the sleep I missed having to wake up early uh, before I have to go to work. Oh, you met Chuck Dixon at your one. Nice. Well, I live in Australia, so we don't get anyone. We did have the variant cover artist for one of the store exclusives for Detective Comics, number 1000. But I was working, so I couldn't get my copy signed. Sad. I know. I know most of the most if there is a writer that does like go to Free Comic Book Day or all that, it's most likely to be Tom Taylor because he's Australian, but he goes to Sydney, so that's both a good and that's a good thing because Tom's stuff with Marvel isn't that good. His DC stuff is uh actually good, but his Marvel stuff is just shocking, 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 shocking. But yes, so it Absolute Carnage will kind of start with the free comic book day issue, Spider-Man Venom #1, before it starts in August. So pretty much straight up after War of the Realms finishes, it wraps up with that Omega issue in July. You're going straight into another event. So you're not even the Marvel's not even giving you a break for this event. It's just can you have a breather, please, for these events? Like not even a month of a break for these events. You know, you just had War of the Realms, and now you're going into absolute carnage. So pretty much everything that Carnage has been doing. Uh, uh, yes, Eric, it should start with Marvel pays you to take them. Pretty much, yes. So all that Carnage has been doing, to starting his own cult for Null, all of that, hunting down all the symbiotes. It all is probably explored and ends here with Absolute Carnage, going after Venom and any of the other symbiote users. So I'm wondering who will get, apart from Venom, obviously. I think if I remember correctly, Toxin died in like the Carnage series that Conway was writing during like All New, All Different. Uh, so we'll see who appears in this event. I think it is going to be this will be a very popular event because Cates and Stegman have been very popular with their Venom run, and they've been building it up within their series, mainly with Web of Venom, those like one shot series, all of that. So it's going to get a lot of probably it's just going to get a lot of attention since Kate and Stegman have been promoting it a lot. They have been building up to it. They've had a lot of good fan reception to their Venom series. So anyone that likes Venom is definitely going to go be reading Absolute Carnage. There's not a lot of details so far. I'm assuming we're going to get them in the solicits for August in near the end of May. So I'm assuming, obviously, Venom will have a tie-in because if I read correctly, Absolute Carnage is just going to be a limited series. Thank you, Edward. Yes, you'll watch my reviews. Yes, if you don't want to read them, just watch my reviews. Pretty much, it's what I'm mostly there for. So if you don't want to read them, I'll read them. Unless it's America, I'm not touching that. Sorry, Eric, I'm not touching America ever again. Nothing. But yeah, Absolute Carnage will be a limited series. Venom will obviously be a tie-in, maybe Amazing Spider-Man, but Spencer has had his own kind of thing going on. Hunted would be finished sometime before Absolute Carnage starts, but he's going to be exploring that the weird centipede demon guy that has connections to Peter and all of that. So whether ASM will have a tie-in to Absolute Carnage, we don't know, but I don't think so. Amazing Spider-Man has had no connections to Venom recently, so I don't see why all of a sudden he would have a tie-in to Absolute Carnage unless they explore in Venom that he brings Spidey to help him, but we'll see how it goes. So, but in typical Marvel fashion, uh, they're going to be doing variants. So all of the other titles within Marvel will get Carnage variants. Thankfully, it actually from the ones I've seen, it actually has the character of the comic on the cover. It's just them wearing the Carnage symbiote. So it's not like those not like those stupid cat ones they had, or it's just like here's the Guardians of the Galaxy cat variant that does not feature any of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It has Captain Marvel on there who is not on the team, or like here's the Daredevil variant that has Marvel. Why is she on the cover with a cat? Because it's a cat variant, but she's not. She's not in Daredevil. So, you know, uh, they're still at least doing the theme and having the characters on there with the variants. That's the only plus I can give them. Um, Probably not going to bother with the Carnage variants unless it's a series I'm reading, and if the cover is actually really, really good. Um, Whether they'll be the same standard price, who knows? Maybe. No, Eric. No, Eric. There's no America Chavez variant. She doesn't have an event. Um, Although this is Marvel, they would dish out a America Chavez event or cover just for the sake of it. They're just like, you know what? Let's just do an America variant for everything. If she suddenly gets a MCU film, um, she's probably going to get another series and some variants. uh, which why not? Yes. Yeah, this is Marvel. Marvel doesn't need a reason to do anything. It's like, hey, here's a 7.99 comic. Why? Because why not? Like like Edward, really, does Marvel really need a reason to do anything stupid? They don't use their brains the majority of the time, so they would just do it anyway. There is no proper editorial control. America Chavez movie, dreams do come true. Yeah, Kevin Feige is just like, hey, we need diversity. What's more diverse than a lesbian Latino woman? Um, America film, greenlight it right now, please. Although this is the MCU, they talk about a lot of series they want to greenlight, but until they're actually filming it, it's not happening. So like talks about, hey, Shang-Chi's gonna have a film. It's just like, show me the proof, then I'll believe you. Show me actual footage of it being filmed, and I'll believe you. And so that was absolute carnage for that event. So I've been reading Venom. I've been liking uh Kate and Stegman's run on Venom. So I'm obviously gonna pick up Absolute Carnage. I'm gonna see how this whole story of Carnage is concluded and wrapped up. So 100% I'm picking it up. Anyone else, if they want to pick it up, that's up to them. Uh, or if you're Edward Brewer, you'll just watch my reviews on it because you don't want to pass on the books, which is absolutely fine either. Just it's events. Is a fit with Marvel. There's like there's a 1 out of 10 chance it will actually be a good event, given their record of events recently. So I know Cates has been doing a lot of good stuff with Venom, so it's probably going to be a good event. It's definitely going to get more attention and probably get more sales than War of the Realms. I was talking in a group chat about this, and uh, we were saying, like, yeah, Absolute Carnage will definitely do much better than War of the Realms. I think a lot of people were just sick of uh, Jason Aaron's writing with Thor and all that. So 1 out of 10, that's an improvement at least. Oh yes, definitely. Used to be a 0 out of 10 for Marvel, but sometimes they gotta at least let one good thing come through. At least one good thing come through. Okay, so this unnamed event, which is supposed to come out in December, I believe. So you know, at least there's a break there. I don't know how long Absolute Carnage is going for, but War of the Realms was like 2 issues each month. So April, May, June, and then the Omega in July. So 4 months. So Absolute Carnage could be uh, August, September, October. I very much doubt we'll get an Omega issue. It's not really a line wide event, so it's probably just going to be those 3 months, August, September, October. So you're going to get at least a proper month or two break. Yes, Eric. Marvel has two good books right now. That's a huge for 2019. Yeah, exactly. But this unnamed event, I'm going to assume it's for X-Men because if you've seen solicits for July or you've heard of recently, Jonathan Hickman is making his proper return back to Marvel, and he's writing two X-Men miniseries, House of X and Power of X. And I was talking to someone on Discord some time ago about this. If you're getting Jonathan Hickman back at Marvel, um, it's a bit of a waste if he's only doing miniseries. Like, it's obviously they have plans for him, and it has something to do with the X-Men. You're not going to get, the guy that wrote, had a great run with Avengers and Fantastic Four and all that. You're not just going to get him back for two miniseries. It's obviously they're going to do something. I'm theorizing probably that Hickman will take over. Whether that means Uncanny will be ending, it's implied that it will be, but that could just be the story ending. Um, I don't remember the solicit saying final issue, but um, if Hickman is taking over the X-Men, if Hickman does take over the X-Men, like properly gets a proper full ongoing X-Men series, I'm all for it. I'm for it. Yeah. Yep. Eric says that's good news. Bad news is the other scrappy writers will still be doing other X-Men books. Well, the thing is, a few X-Men books, a few X titles have been are being cancelled. So in May, X-23 ends. Um, in June, Mr. and Mrs. X will end. Hey, what's up, Sergeant Bats? Glad you can join us. Um, so they're ending. I believe X Force will end. It's implying it will be. No, I dropped that. Like it's only good for the action, but the story is a bit average. So I don't want to keep continuing reading that. So I dropped X Force. I mean, Bryson is a good writer, but I don't think he's 100% giving his best with X Force. Bryson is good on like X titles, but on X Force he's bringing like average, above average at most. So yeah, X-23, Mr. and Mrs. X, they've been confirmed to end. I say confirmed. Marvel doesn't confirm anything; they silently cancel. So X-23 is not solicited for June and July. Mr. and Mrs. X is not solicited for July. It's implied by July solicits Uncanny will be ending, or at least the story will be. Um, so I'm assuming, and Age of X-Men will also end in July as well. So that whole big unnecessary event, uh, which I've seen people talk about. It is such a boring and terrible series. All of those Age of X-Men titles, just God, like thank God I decided not to continue with that after Uncanny X-Men's first story arc by Bryson Thompson and Rosenberg. Yes, pretty much Eric. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. X got promoted to a limited series. Hey, what's up, Maverick? Yeah, notification. Yeah, that's YouTube. Like YouTube, fix your notification. What'd you miss? I talked about War of the Realms. Why just War of the Realms? Why it should just be a Thor event instead of a line-wide event. Talked about a little bit about Absolute Carnage. I'm now talking about the unnamed event Marvel has planned for December, and I'm thinking that it's an X-Men event that Hickman will be writing, considering that he's going to be writing the House of X and Power of X miniseries. And if you're going to bring Hickman back to Marvel and make it such a big deal, you're going to have to put him on more than just two miniseries. So I believe Hickman's probably going to take X-Men on full time with a series, and whether that means Uncanny will end or not, we'll see. it'll probably just be the series would just be called X-Men, most likely. Uh, so they'll probably just be X-Men, and then there's Uncanny X-Men. Um, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, a few of the X titles have been getting cancelled leading up to this. Mr. and Mrs. X, X-23, very much implied X Force will end. Um, Age of X-Men is ending in July. So we'll see how we'll see what that unnamed event is going to be. Oh really? I actually didn't know that, Maverick. Thanks for letting me know. So Matthew Rosenberg is leaving Uncanny soon. So I might be onto something. I actually did not know that. Um, so that whole it's July solicits saying it's the end could actually mean um it's the end of Rosenberg's run. So um that's adding a lot to my theory. Thank you for letting me know that, Maverick. I absolutely did not know that Rosenberg was actually probably leaving Uncanny soon. Hey, what's up, Taylor? No, you're not. You're not really too late. Only by 30 minutes, but we've just been talking about Marvel events so far. Um, just wrapping up the last of the Marvel events, the unnamed event that might have something to do with Jonathan Hickman and X-Men, considering he's back at Marvel in July with the 2 new miniseries. Uh, Hopefully it's good. The price points for the issue number ones better be worth it. They're $5.99 each. So I mean, I like Hickman, but that better be worth it. Marvel, that better be worth it for that price. 7 people in chat. Hope crowds don't make Chris. Hey, this isn't public speaking like out and open. I'll be okay, Eric. thanks for being worried for me. Yeah, no, yeah, 5.99 Maverick. Yikes, exactly. So it better be worth it. Which is weird because the page count is 40, and in that same month there are several 40-page comics that are at 4.99. So I don't know why there's an extra dollar added. No, unless those are errors, that seems a bit weird. July has some few inconsistencies between page numbers and the prices, some being different despite having the same page amount. So I don't know, but we'll see. I'm at least going to check out those first 2 issues of House of X and Power of X. The premises are interesting. The art and coloring we've seen, at least on the covers, look really, really good. So, and it's Jonathan Hickman writing, so hopefully it is really good because I think everyone can agree on this. We need good X-Men books. Um, X-Men have just been treated like shit in in the most recent years, and this they were Marvel's biggest selling title and characters, and they're getting nothing now. So if Hickman can bring the X-Men back from that, uh, good, good. They really need it. Sergeant Bats says, should I be reading ASM? ASM is really, really good. Considering the writer was the guy that decided Captain America should be a Hydra agent. So that's actually a couple of videos I'm planning to record either this week or next week. Marvel or DC titles you should be reading. ASM is definitely one of them. I do not like what Spencer has done to Captain America, but his ASM is so good. Unlike Slott, he understands the character. He understands that Peter and Spider-Man, you can't separate them. They are so connected to one another. You can't have one without the other. And his first story arc was literally splitting them together. And Peter finds out if they don't come back together, they don't merge back together, they die. And they're both starting to lose their memories the closer and closer they get to death. So plus the jabs that slots run. So like that whole, you can't have Spider-Man without Peter Parker. You can't have Peter Parker without Spider-Man, because Slot, like Spider-Man, he doesn't like Peter Parker. And with Spencer's run, it's just like, no, those two characters are important to each other. You can't have one without the other. And just, bringing back Carly, and Carly is just like, maybe you should go to superhero family counseling, because I had problems with Peter when he was a superhero, but it didn't work. Just MJ was just like, you know what? I love Peter and I love Spider-Man. It might be dangerous, but he loves it and he loves me, etc., etc. So I'm going to support him no matter what. So just massive finger to Slot. So that's one of many reasons why you should be reading ASM. uh, you fell off at Hunted because of the $4.99 price point. That's understandable. I mean, I've been enjoying Hunted so far. There's been a good twist, because it seemed weird that Craven was helping the people that he wanted to get rid of, but then the twist came in. It's just like, yep, I knew it was going to happen. Like, of course, and Craven's not going to 100% go against his nature. I've been seeing people have been saying read Hawkman, which I agree with, and that is one of the titles I will recommend. And the DC titles you should be reading. Hawkman is good. Uh, I think everyone agrees in here that Hawkman is good. Yes, I agree with Maverick. Hawkman should be selling a lot. Problem is, DC is dumb and they don't promote it enough. If it's not Batman, they don't promote it, and that's a huge problem. And you also said, Maverick said earlier, in your opinion, do you think the return of Hickman might get a lot of people interested in Marvel again? If they're familiar with Hickman's work and they liked it, yes. He's been praised a lot for his Fantastic Four run with his Avengers and New Avengers. So there's a possibility, but we'll see. This is still modern day Marvel. They've burned a lot of bridges with customers. They've done a lot of stupid decisions. So maybe we'll see. Um, I'm reading those two miniseries because of Hickman. He is a good writer, so we'll see how that goes. Will it bring in more people to get interested in Marvel again? One can hope, so they don't cancel a good series. Black Widow. Maverick says, ASM's alright in my opinion. I think everyone should be reading Spider-Man Life Story by Chip Zdarsky. I have heard I've heard good things about Zdarsky's Spider-Man Life Story. I'm probably going to trade by that because it's $4.99, which is like almost $10 Australian. So so price is a little bit too much. But I'll pick up the trade for Life Story. Zdarsky and Spider-Man, that's pretty much a winning combination, especially in recent years. Zdarsky improved after those 5 issues of Spectacular, which were just utter garbage. Oh god, like those, you can see how much he's improved from like issues 1 to 5 of Spectacular Spider-Man, then number 6 onwards. You can see from number 6 onwards, someone came up to him and said, "Stop trying to be funny. It's not working. Focus on the story." And Zdarsky did that. He mellowed on the comedy and he focused more on the story. And people now love him because of that. Uh, how is Bendis on your scale to things? Bendis, if Bendis is on it, no thanks. Bendis, Jesus Christ. Bendis is just a surefire way to kill things. Yes, Eric says, I don't like Hickman's Avengers, but I thought his Fantastic Four was really good. I really liked his Fantastic Four. I did like his Avengers, but it's more of like a huge connecting story, so you can't particularly jump on. I think that's a criticism I'll say of Hickman's Avengers. Um, Speaking of Bendis, uh everyone know what they're going to do with Lois Lane? No, but speaking of Bendis and Lois Lane, let's talk about DC's event that Bendis will be kicking off. So Leviathan Rising, and which will lead into Event Leviathan, which is a stupid name. Just call it Leviathan. So on the last week of May, on May 29th, DC will be kicking off Leviathan Rising. Um, After they've been having a leading up to it with Action Comics, with Superman Leviathan Rising Special number 1, a one shot for get this, $9.99. $10 for a one shot. No thanks, DC. No thank you. Even if I could tolerate Bendis, no thank you. $10 for a one shot to to just kick off events. No thank you. $10. I thought Marvel was bad. This is terrible. So, Leviathan Rising Special, written by Brian Michael Bendis, Matt Fraction, Greg Rucka, and Mark Andreyko, art by Yannick Paquette, Steve Leiber, and Mike Perkins, cover by Yannick Paquette. And this is the synopsis. An all-star roster of writers and artists highlight the new threat of Leviathan, but also tease up new ongoing series for Jimmy Olsen, written by Matt Fraction and artist Steve Leiber, and Lois Lane, written by Greg Rucka and artist Mike Perkins, coming in June. As Leviathan enacts a plan to take down Superman, it's up to Lois, Jimmy, and the heroes of the DC universe to rescue the Man of Steel. So, two things I want to point out, particularly with the Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane series. First of all, it says here ongoing series. July Solicits would like a talk with you because they say otherwise. They're not ongoing series. They are 12 issues each. They are 12 issue mini slash limited series. And coming in June? No, they're coming in July. Both of those series start in July. So two errors in that first for that Leviathan Rising special. So I can see why it's $10, but that is too much. Yes, I agree with everyone in the chat. Yes, $10. What the fuck? $10. Get out of here, DC. Eric says, if Rocker is writing Lois Lane, you can kiss the marriage goodbye. Well, I'll talk a little about what the synopsis of the series is. So, but first, Event Leviathan, which will be 6 issues long. It starts in June. It'll be 1 issue a month, so it'll be a 6-month long event. So the groundbreaking and always inventive team of writer Brian Michael Bendis and artist Alex Maleev reunite on a mystery thriller that stretches across the DC universe and touches every character from Batman to Superman to The Question to Talia al Ghul. With startling ease, a newly dangerous and aggressive Leviathan wipes out all of its competition and now turns its sights to molding the world into its vision of order. Can the new threat's growth be stopped, and who's guiding its new agents of chaos? Edward says, I watched the review on that one too. You'll have to find someone else because I'm not picking up anything by Bendis. Sorry. I'm not. Leviathan, Event Leviathan does not interest me, and Bendis is on it, so no thanks. You're going to just get so many goddamn word panels, word bubbles that just repeat the same thing. Look, it's Leviathan. Can't you see it's Leviathan? Look, it's Leviathan right there. I can't believe Leviathan is right there. that's what you're gonna get with Event Leviathan. So far, there's the main series and Action Comics, which was building up Leviathan Rising, will act as tie-ins to this series. So, okay, so here's the Lois Lane 12-issue series. On the road and out of Metropolis and carrying a secret that could disrupt Superman's life, Lois Lane embarks on a harrowing journey to uncover a threat to her husband and a plot that reaches the highest levels of international power brokers and world leaders. Critically acclaimed and best-selling author Greg Rucka and master storyteller Mike Perkins, who was actually artist, so I don't know why but they put him as storyteller, but team up for a tale of conspiracy, intrigue, and murder that pushes even Lois to her limits. So this kind of theme, espionage, and all that, it's in Rucka's field, but I'm guessing as Eric said, you can kiss the marriage goodbye if Rucka's writing it. So um let's see. Sergeant Bat says I dropped all DC after Heroes in Crisis number 8. I honestly don't blame you. For me, I'm just sticking to the DC titles that are actually good, that don't make me want to fucking burn them. But I understand if you dropped all of DC because of Heroes in Crisis, because that was such a stupid freaking decision by Tom King. Um, Eric says, "Who the blue hell is Leviathan?" And Tehillim answers that it's connected to Talia al Ghul. So Leviathan was created by Grant Morrison. So um, Talia al Ghul made Leviathan to be her own group outside of the League of Assassins. If you've been reading Silencer, one of the New Age of Heroes titles, Leviathan is in that series. They're the main uh they're the main group antagonists within that series, because there's a civil war going on, factions going against each other and against Talia, and then Talia comes back and reunites all of them. So whether that's the same one, I don't know, because when Event Leviathan was first announced, it was implied that Leviathan is a new group. So whether it has connections to the actual Leviathan that Talia created, I don't know. Uh, Eric says, hashtag give Lois a girlfriend. Don't worry, Rucker will. Did Rucker want to make Lois gay or something? Is that why you're saying the marriage will be ruined? I can kind of see that, but from the premise, it seems like Lois wants to protect the marriage, and like I said, the theme of like espionage, conspiracy, all that, um, that's in Rucker's field. Given he's done stuff like um, Gotham Central, it could be good, but I don't know. Rucker, his Wonder Woman was, I don't know. It started off good, and then, uh, uh, but yeah. Maverick says, as a Wally fan, you guys don't know how much it hurts me seeing what Tom King has done with it. Okay, so sidetrack. I don't know why Tom King perpetually decides to piss off fans. First, it was the Bad Cat wedding. Then it was just killing off all these characters in Heroes in Crisis. And now what he did to Wally in Heroes in Crisis. I don't know why he decides to do that. Sergeant Bat says Brubaker's the true star of Gotham Central. I wouldn't be surprised there. I know he was one of the co-writers. Him, Rocker, and someone else, and they decided to end it because Brubaker and the other person decided to leave, and they decided, well, if we're not all going to be here, we're not going to continue the series. Which I understand. It's like, it's our work. We don't want anyone to replace us or replace either of us. Let's see. Wonder Woman went on a date with a chick during Rucker's run. Did she? I must have forgotten about that. Rucker's run wasn't really that memorable. The Wonder Woman series in general, I don't know. Apart from the first story arc, eh. Tehillim says, keep superhero families together and DH John Kent. I absolutely agree. I don't like Didio's stance. Just like superheroes can't be happy. Eric Breen says Rucker used to be a damn good writer until his ideology got the better of him. Okay, so pretty much you're telling me don't read modern Rucker. So Wonder Woman onwards, or whenever he started to get his started to put his ideology in there. You know, because I've heard Rucker is a good writer, and a lot of he used to be a good writer, as Eric says, but recently he's just decided I don't know. So the Lois Lane series, so there's a 50-50% chance it's either going to be good or bad. It is in Rucker's field, but as Eric says, Rucker isn't that. He used to be a good writer, so who knows? Sergeant Bat says you're forgetting Om shooting Nightwing in Batman 55. I don't read Batman anymore, and yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's dumb. Tom is just Om, Citizen Om, as I know a lot of people like to call him now. Is just his decisions to just do this to these characters are so goddamn dumb. Whether it's his decision or not, the fact that he's okay with it is just stupid. Just get him off Batman. Just don't let him on any other series. Every series he does has to have some kind of psychological or emotional concept or whatever. Too deep for you, intellect, my emotions and feelings are just like it. It doesn't work with everything you do. It sucks. Dan Abnett will be on Nightwing. That's giving me some. Yeah, Abnett's a good writer. Remember when Rucker got Frank Cho fired off of the Wonder Woman variant covers for showing a peek of? Oh yeah, shit, I remember that. Yeah, he got Cho fired because just because it slightly showed her underwear. That's so stupid. Ugh. Excuse me, if you don't have your knees, at least your knees covered, whore, pretty much. So that was okay. So that was the Lois Lane one. So on to the Jimmy Olsen one. So Jimmy Olsen dies. Wait, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Jimmy Olsen lives. Superman's best friend and daily photographer, Daily Planet photographer, Jimmy Olsen tours the bizarre underbelly of the DC universe. This new miniseries featuring death, destruction, giant turtles, and more. It's a century-spanning whirlwind of weird that starts in Metropolis and ends in Gotham City. Then We Will Kill Jimmy. So that's the one written by Matt Fraction and the art by Steve Leiber. So obviously it's influenced by the Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen series, but just Jimmy goes on weird, crazy adventures. But with this one, they kind of tell you that Jimmy will die in the end, and it's just the events leading up to his death. Death in parentheses or whatever, because this is a comic book. No one really dies unless you're Uncle Ben. So very obviously, influenced by Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. Matt Fraction. Matt Fraction is a good writer, depending on what he's on. I really liked his Hawkeye. I think his run on Hawkeye was actually pretty good before it changed writers. And also artists, I think. And I think that the writer and artist came on at the same time. But I like his I like his Hawkeye. I haven't read a lot of his other stuff. I know some people like his Iron Man. He did Iron Man for a bit. So I don't know. This could be a good series considering, but I don't know. This whole Jimmy Olsen dying thing, it's going to be a cop out in the end anyway. So I don't know. That could be interesting, but I don't know. But like considering like the Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen series is supposed to spin out of Leviathan Rising, it it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with it. Like, so really that $10 one shot should only really be $3.99 and only have to do with whatever Bendis is doing. Because from just the plots of the Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen miniseries, Leviathan is not mentioned, so it really has nothing to do with it. So DC just having a $10 one shot for no absolute reason at all. Yeah, realistically, should just be a $3.99 one. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it sounds trash. Pass. Next. Yeah, I can see why, but eh, we'll see. It's all coming out from Leviathan Rising. Not really, but it seems to be. But I don't know. As long as it's not Bendis writing him, that's fine. He's just writing the main event so far, but I don't know. Eric Breen says Fractions Iron Man was good. His Hawkeye was well written, but I think it creates a template for other writers to turn him into a wuss. Uh, I can see that he was more. He wasn't really Hawkeye. He was like Hawk. They gave him a nickname. There was a nickname they gave him just for that, for Fraction specific run. It's like Hawk Dude or Hawk Guy or something like that, just because of how he was written. I enjoyed it for what it was, but like after it changed writers, it's just like I think when they went more on the emphasis of like started to become more of the Kate Bishop Hawkeye series. It's just like yeah, I liked what I liked with Fractions Run is that they both had equal time in there. The series was just called Hawkeye, but both Clint and Kate were the stars, and they got equal um, screen time in a sense in that series. But when it just transitioned over to just it's now all about just Kate, and Clint is now just a featuring character in that. Um, prior to it being like relaunched a few times before being cancelled, and it's just like, yeah, I didn't like that direction. Not really anything against Kate, but just that direction in general. Sergeant Bat says, buy Spawn. I need to get into Spawn. I've heard it's good. I'll have to see if my LCS has some of the trades, but we'll see. Let's see what else. Don Bendis is welcome to write the Toilet Paper Chronicle. If it's nothing to do with Superman or anything like that, just keep Bendis away. DC made such a stupid decision to hire Bendis and to give him so much stuff from the get go. They obviously didn't see the deteriorating quality of his writing when he was writing multiple series at Marvel. They just decide, hey, look, it's Brian Michael Bendis. Let's get him. Let's give him everything. Superman, Action Comics. Let's let him write Batman for our Walmart stuff. Let's give him his own uh, line with Jinx World so he can write his own stuff there. He writes all of the series there, like six something series in Jinx World. Oh, you know what? Let's give him Young Justice. He's in charge of, Wonder Comics. He's in charge of all that. He's writing Young Justice and Naomi or whatever. It's just like they gave him so much from the get go. Let's see. Spawn 296 is a recap of 1 to 100, plus Spawn is 299. I'm just gonna go check a quick check with my LCS and see if they got Spawn 296. If it's a recap of like the first 100 issues, that's pretty good for like 296. So I'll have a see because they're reaching 300 soon, which is supposed to be big. I've seen like Todd McFarlane talk about Spawn 300, Spawn 296. Did not yield any results, and that's a shame. Maybe if I just put Spawn. Yeah, Spawn is a series I want to try and get into. So if there is an issue which just recaps like the first 100, that'll be good. That'll be very helpful. Okay, so it maxes out at 295. Yep, so that's $6 Australian, which is what the price of a 2.99 comic is. So that's actually not that bad. Um, I'll have to look at that later. Thanks for the recommendation on that, uh, Sergeant Bats. I'll definitely try and pick up 296. Where'd the chat go? Okay. Maverick says Bendis isn't leaving soon. His next target is Batman. Please no. Please no. Do not put him on Batman Beyond. Jesus, DC, please don't. I've been hearing Batman Beyond is so good with Dan Jurgens writing it. Do not put him on Batman Beyond. Please no. Uh, yeah, Bats. I'll definitely check them out. I'll check out your reviews of Spawn, but I'll definitely pick up that I'll definitely pick up that I'll try and find that 296 issue. Um, Tehillim says apparently he's writing a series called Batman Universe. Uh, I think that might be his Walmart stuff. I don't know. I'll check. I saw something like that in the July solicits. It could be like just the collection of the stuff he wrote for the Walmart comics. Uh, Eric says, "Oh, I see how it is. You'll read Spawn, but not the work of a national treasure." I've read the first issue of America, Eric. Isn't that enough? I don't want to read any more. Tom King and Bendis are just swap titles, pretty much. Pretty much, they both love destroying their characters. Um, but speaking of King and Bendis, I'll touch on about the characters they write later on. But so finished up on Event Leviathan. I don't care about it. Not going to pick it up. Jimmy Olsenmon sounds interesting, but we'll wait. I'll wait and see if someone reviews it and says it's actually good or they recommend it. I'll decide if I want to. But yeah, no, I don't really care about Event Leviathan. It doesn't matter. I don't know. It seems too street level for Superman, for at least Action Comics. Uh, like when I think Superman, I don't know. When I think ground level, I don't think Superman. I think Batman. I think Nightwing. I think Green Arrow. Superman. If this was Golden Age Superman, maybe, probably. Superman now, I don't think of him as a street level character. So I don't know. It's just I don't know why Bendis is taking this approach with Superman, making him street level. Really shouldn't be a Superman series. But Maverick says, "Did you hear about the new Superman and Batman team up book?" Yes, which was the thing I was regarding with the mentioning the King and Bendis stuff. I'm going to talk about that after Year of the Villain, which I'm going to talk about now. So, Year of the Villain, there's a one shot which is only 25 cents. uh, which is essentially free. So there's a 25-cent issue. There's also one just for free on free comic book day. I don't know if they're the same thing. If it's the same thing, I don't see why there's one for 25 cents, or if it's just slightly different. Who knows? I'm getting Year of the Villain, the 25-cent one anyway, so I'll just pick up the free comic book day one anyway. I mean, just to see if it's literally the same title, but Year of the Villain. We'll start with Free Comic Book Day. It's going to cover all the main stuff that's going on for the next year of DC. So with all that Snyder is doing with Justice League, leading up to Justice Doom War, what Lex Luthor is doing in all of that, what King is doing with City of Bane, including all of that mess with Bane. Then you have the new Batman and Superman series coming out soon. All of that, those, and also Event Leviathan as well. All of that being teased, talk about in this one shot. But year of the Villain overall, It kind of starts with July. So in July, Lex Luthor is going to be appearing in the majority of DC's titles, making a offer to the villains within those titles. So setting up this Year of the Villain and then leading up to Justice Doom War. Presumably, that's all that Lex is doing with all that Snyder's doing with Lex is leading up to Justice Doom. So I'm assuming that's what primarily Year of the Villain will be about. Um, so yeah, Lex will be appearing in several of the majority of titles, offering villains to help them uh, deal with the heroes that they're fighting, and accompanying this our Year of the Villain variants, which is just the face of the villain on the cover. So not only does it fit the theme, it actually has a character that appears in the book. So like for example, Aquaman number 15, the Year of the Villain variant, uh, is Black Manta, who is in the issue. He's in the description for the issue, so he's on the cover of the variant. Uh, the Nightwing one has a Talon from the Court of Owls. The Talons and the Court of Owls are in that issue, so it has the theme and it actually has the actual character on the variant. So a proper use of a variant cover. So I'm intrigued. I'm interested in seeing what Year of the Villain is about, particularly with whatever Snyder's been doing. I've been enjoying his Justice League run, leading all of it leading up to Justice Doom War. So similar with Absolute Carnage, I think this is going to get a lot of attention. Uh, Snyder's been getting a lot of praise with Justice League. It's been getting a lot of build up, so more people are going to be interested in Year of the Villain than Leviathan. So I could see it doing very well. Um, and unlike other events, you don't have to pick up every issue that Lex Luthor is in. It doesn't say it doesn't say you have to pick up this issue for Year of the Villain. It's like that's a lot of money spent because like I said, he appears in like the majority, probably almost 90% of all comics that DC is releasing in July. Lex Luthor is in them. That is so much money into that, but it's just completely optional. All he does there is he's just offering them something to help them deal with the hero they're fighting. Or in the case of Catwoman, do you really want to still be a hero? Would you rather be a villain like you used to be, etc., etc.? So all that stuff is completely optional. Thank God. Um, I'm, I mean, I've been liking what Snyder's been doing with Justice League, but I'm not going to fork out more money having to get all of those issues. Uh, Maverick says Savage Avengers looks interesting. It looks interesting, but mm, I'm not really sold on the team up. Not the team up, the team lineup. I don't know who's writing it. I think is it Bunn or Dugan? I'm gonna have a look this. I'm gonna look this up. Savage Avengers number 1. Because I'm gonna at least pick up the number 1 to see what it's like, but I don't particularly have high hopes for it. I mean, it sounds cool, but I'm not really sold on the lineup. It's just like I'm not nor ignoring you, Eric. I don't know what Badger is. I have no idea what you and Bats are talking about. So, but yeah, the lineup of Conan the Barbarian, Elektra, Punisher, Venom, Wolverine, Doctor Voodoo, all that. I don't know. It's a bit. Wolverine is such a busy guy right now. Like, how can he be in like so many, like just so many like teams and doing his own stuff as well? So Jerry Dugan. Jerry Dugan. Dugan is hit or miss depending on what he's on. So I don't know. The art is by Deodata Jr. So I don't know. Yes, Maverick. Wolverine is on everything now. Yeah, pretty much. uh, Badger, the greatest comic of all time. Oh God. Well, let's look this up, man. Unless you're messing with me. Uh, Badger, short-lived. I know. Is it is it currently with IDW? So I'm making sure I'm looking at the right Badger. Like, okay, published by Capital Comics, then by First, released through Dark Horse, Image, and IDW. Is that the right one? Please tell me if that's the right one, because I've never heard of it before. But while I wait for that answer, so as I was saying to Maverick early on, yes, Batman and Superman are getting a new series. So Joshua Williamson, who writes Flash and did the first run of Justice League Odyssey, um, he uh, he's going to be writing the new Batman Superman series that's starting in August. So the pros I'm going to go with this series. First, written by Joshua Williamson. Like what he's been doing with Flash. Liked his run on Justice League Odyssey, so I'll definitely pick it up for that. Um, Art by David Marquez. I liked Marquez's art on Invincible Iron Man, Bendis' first run. You know, when it was actually interesting and wasn't boring as hell. Uh, the third one. Yeah, the third one. It's a Batman and Superman, not written by King or Bendis. Thank God. You know, Williamson is a really good writer, so we'll probably actually get some good Batman and Superman for once. Hooray! Um, One thing, kind of a con, but a bit iffy on the well, two things actually. One, the Secret Six are going to be villains. I've heard they used to be heroes, but in this one, they're turned into villains now. Um, and the Batman Who Laughs will play a part in this. And it's just, I like the Batman Who Laughs. It's just they're giving him the Batman Harley treatment, where he's just going to be in everything and just going to have everything. So I don't know. I'll see what the I'll pick up the first issue, see what it's like. Hopefully, it's good. You know, Williamson is uh you know, Williamson is a good writer, so hopefully it is good. But I don't know. We'll we'll see. We'll see. It's DC. There's a big chance it'll be good. And you know, King and Bendis are not on writing this Batman and Superman series, so uh, that improves the odds. Eric says the Secret Six were villains before; they were just fighting worse villains. Oh, so they're so they're anti villains. They were anti villains in a sense. They're not really full on bad guys, but they fight other bad guys. Pick up the first issue of Badger. Larry. I'm gonna figure out this whole Larry nonsense. I see it mentioned in the fictional character biography. Uh, would call people Larry. Name of his father who left. His mother. Okay. Okay. Hashtag read Badger. Okay. I'll see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find an issue of Badger. I'll see. Considering it seems to be an oldish series, the chances, I don't know. Well, oldish, it started in 83, so old series. We'll see. See if I can find it. But yeah, so oh yeah, uh one more thing. Uh no, not really, isn't not really important. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Let's see. Maverick says, has Fantastic Four been good? I wouldn't know because I dropped it. I wasn't really impressed with the first story. It could have been better, and its Dan Slott. It's a surefire way to fail, and it's been constantly delayed in slot fashion. So any interest of it is just dying anyway because of slot not being able to handle multiple series at the same time. Okay, Eric. Teal'c says, make all Bendis titles Elseworlds. That would be fine. If they're just Bendis's takes on in an Elseworld, that'd be fine. But the problem is he's messing with main continuity. Uh, he has not explained how the crime syndicate is still alive, despite the fact they died in either Forever Evil or the Dark Side War. So, come on, stop it. But regardless of that, so yeah, War of the Realms, line wide event that should have been a Thor event. Absolute Carnage, uh, going to be popular. I'm gonna pick it up because I'm reading Venom anyway. Unnamed event, very much believe it's going to be something to do with Hickman and the X-Men. Leviathan Rising event. Leviathan could not give two shits about. And Year of the Villain is probably going to get a lot of tension and a lot of build up because of what Snyder's doing. So I'm interested in that. I'm picking up the one shot this week. So hopefully it should be good. Maverick says, will you be doing more live streams in the future? You're pretty good. Well, thank you, Maverick. Thank you for that. Maybe. I made a joke earlier in the stream that my live streams and Ozchris Eats the Universe are the doomsday clock of my channel. So it's either going to get delayed or cross your fingers and it might happen. Pretty much. Tehillim says Rogolzar is boring. Well, he's doomsday with an axe. Red Cloud, I've heard that. I don't even care about Red Cloud. Eric says, I'm 57 Monday, sensitive to old references because they're true. Well, I can understand that. You don't want to be reminded of your age, Eric. But yeah, that's it for those events. Just wanted to talk about them, let people know about what's going on. So yeah, War of the Realms, pointless, absolute carnage. If you've been liking what Cates has been doing with Venom and you're interested in it, pick it up. We'll see what that unnamed event turns out to be. Don't bother with event Leviathan. I don't think anyone with a brain will. Um, and Year of the Villain should be good. I'm definitely picking that up, and we'll see how that goes. So that is it for the live stream. That is all. That's just all I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, and the new Batman Superman series kicking off. So thank you all for joining me in the live stream. We've gone on for almost an hour and a half. I think that's enough. Don't want to turn this into an I love comics stream where it just goes on for so long because they go into so many tangents, mainly because of Englentine, but that's just him. So thank you to everyone that was in the chat. Just messing around, joining in on the conversation with myself, pretty much, and calling me Larry, I guess. I will understand that reference soon. If it's bad, I'm going to be mad. if it's a joke reference at my expense, I don't know how I'll feel about that, Eric and Sergeant Bats. uh, it'll change your life, Larry. Nice stream. Oops, he's deleted it. I saw it, Eric. You can't hide that from me. But yes, thank you to everyone that joined in the stream, joined and watch. Hope you all have a great day. I'll see you next time, and read Hawkman. Bye.